Monday morning, back in the office, Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2. This video today is 6 things that we learned from Chelsea's home defeat to Liverpool in the Premier League. Frank Lampard still looking for that elusive first home win as Chelsea manager in all competitions. If it doesn't come on Wednesday against Grimsby, well, I don't think it will ever come. So Grimsby at home is up next for Chelsea. But before we get into any of that Carabao Cup stuff, got to address the sore throat issue. My voice is going to break a lot during this video today, so I'm more than aware that there's going to be people filming the screen, listening to my voice sounding like I've literally just gone through puberty. Sore throat. It was a busy weekend for me. I was up in London hanging out with some friends for the majority of it. Met the London is Blue podcast guys. Great bunch of fellas. Enjoyed myself pre-match yesterday as well. And then obviously the game. We were beaten 2-1. It was a very intense atmosphere at Stamford Bridge yesterday. It was one that we need to see that more often. We need to see that kind of noise level at Stamford Bridge on a consistent basis. The Liverpool fans added to that as well. They've always got a very good away following. But Chelsea were beaten and there were a lot of frustrations in that game yesterday. But as you can see on the screen, we've got ourselves 4 greens, 1 yellow and 1 red, which, considering yet again we've lost a match of football, you could say that I'm being a little bit overly positive. However, I think everybody who watched the game yesterday, be it in the stadium or on television, can see that Chelsea were relatively unlucky and we had a lot of good chances, we played a lot of good football and we nullified a lot of the quality within our opposition yesterday to actually probably say we deserved something more from the game, be it from VAR, a bit of time wasted, a bit of just general bad luck, but we'll get into that later. The first thing that we're going to address is the obvious one. It's the man who, as soon as his name was on the team sheet yesterday, I was immediately more confident that we were going to be able to give Liverpool a much better game. N'Golo Kante is back. Some would say that he's not even 100% match fit. And if N'Golo Kante can perform the way he did yesterday and still not be 100% match fit, then we've got one of the best midfielders in the world to come back again when he is 100% match fit. He was phenomenal yesterday. The way that he got back and he won the ball back for Chelsea in our own half. The way he was back yet again being that tenacious player biting at the ankles of the Liverpool players. And then the obvious thing, and the thing that I've stuck on the graphic here, the goal. It was a brilliant finish. The way he got the ball, he drifted back around, he saw the space, he ran into the space. That low centre of gravity that he's got when he is dribbling moving forward with the ball. Something that we've got to be grateful for Maurizio Sarri for what he's done to N'Golo Kante's attacking game. We saw a lot more of it develop last season. There's a voice crack right there. And then obviously this year under Frank, he's got more of a freedom when he's in this team to get forward, use that dribbling, and he did that yesterday, and the finish into the top corner was absolutely incredible. Whether it was Adrian or Alisson in goal for Liverpool, it wouldn't have mattered. It was a brilliant finish. N'Golo Kante deserved his goal, and he got us back into the game. In terms of getting back into the game, obviously we didn't quite manage to find the second goal, but the second point that I will make, and a reason why Liverpool didn't get any other chances yesterday to add to the 2 goals that they did score in the first half, Fikayo Tomori. The man is absolutely brilliant. If we're talking about needing to improve defensively, which we certainly are, that conversation isn't going away. We'll get into it later on in this video. If there was one positive yet again yesterday, despite his inexperience, Fikayo Tomori is playing some absolutely brilliant football. His speed, his technique, the way he passes the ball, his strength and his assertiveness at the back for Chelsea is something that game by game it's developing and developing. We're talking about playing against 3 of the best attackers in the world in Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino. Tomori yesterday did more than stand his ground. I think that he marshalled the defence. I think that he was probably our second best player on the field, and I've got to give him another mention because although we definitely do need to strengthen defensively, and I think that there's probably a whole new video that I have to make dedicated to the defending at some stage this week. But in terms of looking at players and positions where we don't necessarily need to spend 50, 60, 70 million on a replacement, Tomori is 100% showing that despite his age, despite his lack of experience, he's 100% ready to take this Chelsea team forward. And from what I'm seeing a maturity from Tomori where when it comes to making decisions, he did get booked yesterday. When it comes to decision making, he doesn't panic under the pressure. He's always ready to make the right choice, to do the right thing for Chelsea. And defensively, he looks very, very good indeed. The way we got back into the game yesterday, when you're 2-0 down against a team like Liverpool, it's very difficult when you've already had to make 2 substitutions. It's very difficult to be able to mould the performance tactically because you can't bring on different personnel to change the way the game is going. So what we did yesterday with those 2 substitutions, the forced substitutions for Emerson and Christensen, was we nullified the Liverpool attack by playing in between the lines. Chelsea structured their midfield around the Liverpool midfield, enabling us to make space behind to create opportunities. Mo Salah was in Fikayo Tomori's back pocket for the majority of the game. Yes, Chelsea were beaten by Liverpool, and the Liverpool performance again, it was nowhere near their top standard, yet they still won the game. But the way that Chelsea forced Klopp into making defensive substitutions because of the way we grew into the match, go at Liverpool yesterday, something we did very well for the majority of the game. I was very impressed with the way that Chelsea pressed Liverpool yesterday, and it all comes back to N'Golo Kante again. Having him back on the field just enables Chelsea to have that extra bit of legs in the middle where we've struggled when he doesn't play. We struggle to actually keep up the momentum and keep up the way that we do this higher press, and then eventually the players just seem to burn out in the last 20 minutes. It was the complete opposite yesterday. We got a second wind in about the 65th minute, and then we just kept going at Liverpool, constantly forcing Jurgen Klopp into making defensive substitutions, which really showed that we rattled Liverpool. We got under their skin. Jurgen Klopp knew that if that match would have gone on for maybe another 10-15 minutes, not that this is football, like it's a 90-minute game of football, they won it, well done to them. If the game would have gone on any longer, I think Chelsea would have got themselves an equaliser. We saw that hanging header from Michy Batshuayi that seemed to last an eternity. I was here holding on to my wrist when it happened. I wasn't really. I don't do weird stuff like that. But Michy Batshuayi missed the header. There are a couple of other good opportunities. Adrian made a good save. I think Alonso might have been offside. But the way that we forced Liverpool yesterday to make those changes so that they couldn't keep attacking like they normally like to do was very impressive from Chelsea. And I think it all comes down to N'Golo Kante being back in the team, bringing us that energy, bringing us those legs in the middle in order for us to be able to maintain the high press for the majority of the match. So point number 4, and I bring it back to these 4 substitutions that we were made. Kurt Zouma, he came on and he was absolutely brilliant again yesterday. I think that Zouma-Tomori partnership in the second half was everything we've been asking for defensively from Chelsea so far this season. And we'll get onto it at the end. I think you all know what the red box is in today's video. Defensive issues are plentiful right now at Chelsea. But when Zouma came on yesterday, I loved the way he's using his body weight, he's using his strength to command the tackles, to win the ball back, and not just win the ball back, carry it forward. When Liverpool started to sit deep, when we started to rattle them, Zouma would win the ball back in the middle and he'd start trying to go past players. He'd start trying to bring the ball forward so that we're not just releasing it and always going through either Azpilicueta or Alonso with the attacks. Zouma was trying to get forward with the ball, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant when he came on yesterday. He probably didn't expect to come on so early, and it moves us into point number 5. These two can kind of intertwine. Chelsea are just so flipping unlucky. How we can expect to get Christensen injured in the first half, Emerson injured in the first half. Like, these things we just don't expect to happen. Emerson, it's a muscle injury. He clearly wasn't 100% ready, but as Frank said, it's a game against Liverpool at home. Emerson's been in brilliant form when he's been playing for Chelsea, and he wanted to play. You can't write the script for these kind of things, and with Chelsea's luck right now, it's not really a surprise to anybody. But Zouma came in, he did himself justice, justified and vindicated the decision for Frank to bring him on. He was excellent. So I want to talk a little bit more about this very evident bad luck right now at Chelsea. I think that we also can't shy away from the fact that Frank's got to be very, very careful with how he brings players back from injury. You look at Mason Mount yesterday. People were saying Mason didn't look like he was fully fit, and I totally agree with that. I don't think he had his best game in a Chelsea shirt. Then there's Christian Pulisic, who somehow has lost his place, and I'm going to make a video about this week. A lot of people are talking about it. Pulisic didn't come on yesterday. If we're being realistic, Frank didn't expect to have to make 2 defensive substitutions in the first half, and he probably had some ideas in his mind about whether Pulisic can be brought on at half-time or in the second half in order to get Chelsea something a bit different tactically going forward. But we didn't really have that option. When Michy Batshuayi sat on the bench and you're chasing a goal, what kind of message does that say to your striker if he still doesn't come on? So I do agree with Frank's decision to bring on Batshuayi yesterday to give us something a bit different. Tammy, I thought he played relatively well. I think he should have finished the one-on-one better than he did, but he did have a quiet game in comparison to what we've been seeing from recent weeks with all the goals he's been scoring. But at the same time, you're up against Virgil van Dijk, the world's best centre-back, and Joel Matip, who has really come into his own at Liverpool as well. So he always had his work cut out yesterday, Tammy, and when he did get a chance, he needed to take it, and he didn't. Michy came on, and I thought he was a bit of a nuisance. I did feel as though maybe bringing off Mason Mount to bring Pulisic on would have been the better option, considering Mason didn't look as though he was fully fit and ready to take on Liverpool. Alonso was forced to get forward a lot and use all of his creativity going forward yesterday on the left. So I think Mason didn't have the worst game ever, but it certainly wasn't his best. So in terms of that bad luck, I certainly feel as though Chelsea's options were exhausted when it came to adapting things tactically towards the end of the game. I don't really think we needed to change the tactics. I think the tactics that we did employ against Liverpool yesterday were working. On the balance of play, in open play, Chelsea were by far the better team. But it leads us into point number 6, and it's something that no matter what it is we're doing, we cannot avoid this. We've lost 2 matches of football this week at Stamford Bridge. I've been to both of them, come away from Stamford Bridge with 2 defeats because we can't defend set pieces. It's genuinely so painstakingly obvious that going forward, Chelsea look phenomenal. And I think tactically, Frank's worked that one out perfectly. But whatever is going on the training ground this week, it all has to stop to work on defensive set piece defending. Like, please. It's getting so ridiculous now. Every time there's a free kick, even 35 yards away from goal, I'm sat here panicking thinking, oh no, it's just going to go in, isn't it? They're all going to be looking at one another as if to say, well, what do we do? Positionally from set pieces, concentration from set pieces, has been awful from Chelsea this season, and it's too much now. It's got to the point where we're losing matches as a result of giving away free kicks, which we should never feel that unconfident in those kind of positions. Over the years, we've had Terry and Cavallio, we've had Gary Cahill. I'm not just blaming the centre-backs, I'm also blaming the full-backs and just the general tactical awareness of defending set pieces. It is currently like a 1 out of 10 in terms of quality. And that's me being nice. It needs to get better, and it's the reason we're losing games. And yesterday, we got done by VAR. Whatever. It's video assistant referee, whether you agree with it or not. The chances are the decision was the correct one, therefore we can't really complain about that. What we can do something about, however, is the actual ability to defend on the pitch. It's a shame that we have to focus on this so much, but when we've lost 2 matches in the space of 4 days as a result of the same things over and over again, yes, you could say that with the TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold free kick, you can't really do too much about that. In terms of like a split-second decision to do something, Trent is absolutely brilliant at that. You remember the ball in for Origi's goal last season from the corner against Barcelona. Like, to think about that in the moment, to see that gap, it takes a very smart footballer, and Trent is certainly that. With the free kick yesterday, to drill that ball through the only gap there was in front of him into Kepa's near post, I mean, we could question that as well, but I'm not going to give Kepa too much of a hard time for that one. It was an unbelievable free kick. The second one, though, it's just ball watching in the middle. Bobby Firmino is probably, in my opinion, one of the best number 9s in the Premier League. I think he's an underrated footballer. Firmino's there, wins the header all day long, past Kepa again. We're 2-0 down at this point. As a result of 2 poor defensive concentrational moments, we've got a mountain to climb again. I said it at the end of my match log yesterday. If you've not yet seen the match log, I'll leave a link in the description. I'll stick it as a card or the end screen. We have to stop giving ourselves such difficult mountains to climb. Despite the performances, I do agree with what Jose Mourinho said. There's only so much that Chelsea can do in terms of accepting defeats time and time again at home. Yesterday, the performance was very good. There is no running away from that, and we're not going to keep saying if we're 16th in the table halfway through the season, but we're playing well. It's not going to last forever. But yesterday, it felt as though that second half, we were just unlucky yesterday. And I think that I'm going to make a video addressing this whole like big club, you can't keep like clapping players off the pitch when you've lost kind of thing. Going to address that in a brand new video because I've got a lot to say about that. The Chelsea fans turned up in numbers. Everyone's voice was accounted for yesterday. It was absolutely brilliant atmosphere, as you'd expect it to be for a game against Liverpool. But what I'm still loving about this, and I put it on Twitter after the game, I even swore on Twitter, which I don't do very often. I did put some stars there so that it wasn't like painstakingly obvious that I was using some abusive language. But in the context of things, everybody is behind the club. There are a few idiots that still want to like just get rid of Frank and all this stuff, but I don't even think these are like real people thinking real things because they're just doing it for attention. I've just given it attention now, so congratulations, you win in your temporary little victory in this life of yours right now. But I'm getting frustrated with the defeats, me included. I don't want to lose every game we go to at Stamford Bridge, and I don't want to be settling to be behind Sheffield United in the table. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is we've been so unlucky, so many injuries, yet there are still so many positives. And I think that if we're looking at Chelsea Football Club for the next few years, we've got a crop of players, and I think we've actually got a management team that can take us forward, win us trophies, and connect everything together at Chelsea Football Club again. There's absolutely no way that we would be settling for defeats at home if it wasn't for the spine of this team starting to come together. Kepa's got to work on a few things in goal. We've got to work on defensive issues, but in terms of the togetherness in this Chelsea fan base, it's never been better than it is right now. and we're losing games of football, which is a weird one, and I will go into that in a lot more detail this week. I'm just going to have to give the throat a bit of a rest for now. But yeah, I love Chelsea Football Club. I'm sure you guys know that, and I'm sure you guys do as well. And I want the best for this team, and I do believe that sticking to this process, I know it triggers some people, it is a process, and it's something that we've got to get out of these injuries. We've got to bring back the likes of Hudson-Odoi, Reece James, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, players that are going to come into this Chelsea team and immediately inject more quality. It's something that I'm very excited for. I don't think we're far away from having a product on the pitch that I can be very confident about winning games of football week in, week out, even against the big boys. I think it's not far away. So yeah, that is the end of this video. 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2. As always, I'd love the conversation to continue with you in the comments down below. I'll be doing a Chelsea fans react video tomorrow. There will be FIFA career mode episodes coming out either later today or tomorrow as well. I've just taken a few hours off, really. I don't really take days off. I take a few hours off to just chill out, have a couple of beers with my mates this weekend. And as the result of the game yesterday, I've screwed my voice up, so I've got to be careful with that one, because it's a bit like Kante's injury. If we bring him back and ask him to do too much too soon, it could get worse before it gets better. And if I don't have a voice, we don't have videos. So yeah, going to cut this one here. Thank you guys for watching. As always, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.